You got my heart, girl. Hey everyone! I didn't want to play this game at first, but it was strongly recommended to me by friends. Somehow, I was expecting to be some standard anime date sim, like nothing special. But damn, I was wrong. Turned out, this game is not a bad horror story. So today, I'll tell you about a game that's worth to check out. But I would assume that you already know it inside out. For I'm Cringelord, and this video is about MiSide. Personally, the best part of the game is story. When I started playing, game gave me an impression that it's going to be some typical yandere girl story who is made in love with you and tries to force you into a relationship. You know, anime usually promotes such an idea that girls make their first move, way too far from reality, and are ready to offer their heart and a hand to a guy. When such characters as yandere appear, writers max this idea out to such an extent that the girl is ready to offer you the heart and the head of their competitor. MiSide turned out to be rather different from what I expected. Everything starts with a Tamagotchi-like game where you help anime girl to live a life. Then, all of a sudden, you're being transported into the game. You start to figure out what's going on, soon you meet the girl you know as Mita. You hang out with her until you hear some weird sounds coming from wardrobe. That's where you're given a choice to write and investigate what's going on, or to join a toxic relationship with yandere Mita, which seems to be rather normal, but that part is still in development. First walkthrough expects you to write against yandere Mita, and that's when the game really begins providing you with your first horror experience. You meet good Mita who starts helping you by giving a magic ring and telling you a bit about what's going on, an unusual way to propose. So that's how Way to a place known as Core starts. You're traveling between versions of the game, meeting various Mitas, solving puzzles, exploring lore, and all the said is done to defeat evil Mita and escape the game. Second option is rather short and made to unlock extra content, which is still in development. So the main story lies within the first option. Characters are a great addition to the game. Even though they're still one character, they give you completely different vibes and don't feel the same at all. Like yandere Mita has creep vibes, good Mita has nice vibes, Kepi has cool vibes, and so on. When you meet those girls, you start to like and sympathize with them really quickly. Well, except the evil one, of course. But that's just a sign of a job well done in a character writing, designing, and animating. Everything about the story seemed really cool to me after I completed the game for the first time. Well-written characters, truly nice and engaging story. All of that makes it really entertaining to play. It gets you, and then you want to play the game till you finish it and explore everything. And I really like the concept of traveling through game versions. Not a new one, but quite rarely met in games. When I made the second walkthrough, I got a bit disappointed, because I got an impression that mechanically it will be a pretty standard Japanese game, which you have to replay several times to figure out the whole story, and that you would get an ability to alternate how things go on. Such option is unfortunately non-existent, at least for now.
Cringelord, I've prepared this present specially for you. What do you think?
What the... Are those dead people?
Cringelord, you don't like it. I've never expected you to be an abuser who doesn't appreciate presents. We are breaking up.
Whew, thanks God I dodged this bullet. Bye.
What do you mean by?
That's exactly what I mean. The plot of the story is not flawless. Certain questions may appear. There is a certain control over Gameworld reality. That is described in Otaku Mita's world. Why no one tries to kill evil Mita to reset her, except only good Mita who tries to solve everything via program reset. And Kepi, who was part of it but failed. As game lore presents, there should be a lot of different Mitas. Why almost no one tries to fight the evil one? Why player doesn't try to kill her? What about the guy that appears for just a moment? There is a good amount of questions to be asked. Game is still in development, and maybe its story will be improved logically by adding more lore and content in the future, or maybe not. Gameplay of MiSide gives me positive and kind of mixed feeling at the same time. It has a wide range of activities and puzzles to do in game, but primarily you walk and interact with objects. Due to that, horror part dies out a bit, even though transitions help to maintain it at a certain level. What you do is a bit of this, then a bit of that, then a bit of something different. I wish it had more interaction with enemies like stealth or maybe fighting. Game is basically jack of all trades and master of none. Just gives you diverse but limited experience at the same time. Shame that devs didn't expand the horror part to make it an actual horror game. Would enhance gameplay to a completely different level. Well, not too different from 95% of modern horror games, where success lies within 70% of walking, 20% of puzzles, and 10% of screamers. The last thing to talk about is Gameworld. Mostly you spend time in one location, which alternates a bit, depending on the in-game world version and which meter you have to interact with. There are transition locations between that same house. Locations are nicely made. There is a change of small details in each meter's house which sparks interest to explore. Transition locations are not bad too, but kind of empty-ish and minimalistic. The world feels rather small, even though lore-wise it's described as huge and endless. Expansion of the world would also make wonders for MiSide, because game engages you into the world exploration and at the same time doesn't give you much opportunity for it. So, the price of the game is $15. Not a bad price for such a game. I would say that getting it during sale would be a good deal since it's still in development, but that is a problem for me. I don't like buying and playing games that are still in early access. Steam doesn't mention that work on the game is still in progress, so I can only recommend you to get it when it's finished, or if you really want to support dev. Despite that, I really enjoyed playing game and its story. Honestly, haven't been this engaged in a game for quite a time. The difference between my expectations and what I got is surprising. MiSide turned out to be a bit philosophical, a bit deep, and entertaining. You don't usually get it in anime games. MiSide is still in development. Hope that success of the game will help devs to turn this game into real candy. Of course, MiSide has downsides, like that game is kind of short, and maybe it would be great to get bigger locations, more things to explore, more horror experience, improving plot, story, and adding choices or ability to alternate story and its ending. But MiSide is not a bad game as it is for a few evenings. I thank you for watching, and I would like to know, what do you think about MiSide? Have you played it? Which meter do you like the most? Let me know in the comment section below. I fare you well, and I'll see you in the next video.